What's up, y'all? Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video, and we're going to be giving y'all a homestead update and just sharing a few projects that we have going on right now. So let's jump into it. Hey y'all, welcome back to the homestead. My name is Derek, and if you've never visited this channel before, it's all about educating and inspiring you so that you, your garden, and your homestead can thrive. All right, y'all, so I'm over here at our laying hens, and we've been rotating these guys with Premier One electric poultry fencing, and it's run by a solar energizer. This stuff is phenomenal, y'all, because we can constantly be moving these birds around. So they're on fresh grass, and ultimately it's the way that chickens are supposed to live, being able to scratch and peck, eat insects, eat grass, move around. And so as you can tell, these guys have tons of space. And so it's also going to build our soil and feed the microbiology in the soil so that those grasses continue to develop and grow. So we just sold 4 of our hens, and so we're down to 16 hens, and we're not selling any more of them. That's going to be the perfect amount for us to supply eggs to us and a few family and friends. However, we do have 3 roosters, and we want to keep one of them. So we're going to butcher 2 of them and put them in the freezer, and so excited about that. However, I've never butchered chicken before, so it's going to be a first, but pretty excited just to get some learning under our belt in regards to butcher and pastured poultry. All right, so I'm out here in the garden, and we've been doing a lot of work out here, putting up trellises, putting wood chips down, and transplanted out a ton of different plants that have been grown in our indoor greenhouse. We got them put out yesterday, and so I'm really excited for some warm weather to get here so that those plants can really thrive. We've been getting a ton of rain. But one thing we are doing in particular is I've got a section here behind me, as you can see, that's fenced. And originally we were going to use that as our permanent chicken run, and we were going to do a deep litter or deep bedding method. And we still may experiment with that in the winter time. And essentially what that is you're going to put down 3 to 4 inches of mulch. We've got a load of it that a local arborist dropped off for us. And basically you put your birds in there, and what they do is they're tilling up all of that mulch. Obviously they're pooping and peeing on it. Actually, they don't poop and pee separately. They do it all in one. But through that, you're essentially creating a compost system that the birds are turning for you, and they're creating compost without you having to put it in stalls and turn it and do all that labor intensive stuff. And so I haven't used this yet. We planted a bunch of cover crop in it right now. I'm gonna let that grow up, and then in a month or a month and a half or so, I'm gonna put the birds in there and let them just feast on all the cover crop and different stuff that's gonna be growing in there. And so I may eventually just turn that into some more garden space, and I think that will honestly be my plan. And so looking back, I wish I would have waited to build this because I've got them out moving around with that Premier One electric fencing. So lesson learned, but it's great knowledge that we can carry on with us in this homestead journey. The other thing that's been greatly productive for us is this raised bed, and I created this back in the fall. And I wanted to create basically a poly low tunnel so that in the cold winter months that we could grow greens and so that we could supply salad mix for our family throughout those cold months. And so we actually interplanted onions. We bought some onion sets, and we have rainbow chard, kale, some different types of lettuces, and we also planted potatoes. And so those potatoes are starting to come up. And so this is a great example of being able to plant a ton of different food in one small bed. We've also got carrots in there. And so companion planted a lot of things. And the great thing about when you do this is it confuses the pest cycle, and that's the difficulty and the issue with monoculture. When you basically just plant, let's say you planted 10 long rows of bush beans. Well, once the pests figure out where those beans are, they found them. And so that's, it can greatly benefit you by interplanting things, and also not planting one long row of the same thing. Mix it up, plant them in different areas of the garden, and that way if you do get pests on one, you may not get them on the other. So the other project that we're getting ready to break ground on is our Landrace squash and corn patch. Now we're going to be planting basically using the Three Sisters method, and essentially that is a method that has been used for a very long time and was used by the Native Americans before European settlers got here. And essentially you're planting squash for ground cover, you're planting corn, and you're planting pole beans. The pole beans will fix nitrogen in the ground, which will help feed the growth of the corn, and they will climb up that corn stalk. And then again, the squash is ground cover to suppress weeds and maintain moisture. And so they kind of have this interplay to where they basically benefit one another. And that's why it's called the Three Sisters. And so we're getting ready to break ground on that. I'm gonna be laying a tarp down back here, and we're gonna be doing it 100% no-till. We might add some small amendments to the planting areas, but it's gonna be pretty minimal, because basically what we're wanting to do with the Landrace is we're wanting to develop genetically diverse seeds. So we're basically breeding seeds and breeding corn and squash seeds so that we can create a squash and a corn seed that will grow tremendously well in our native soils. If you don't know what landrace gardening is, I did a video in the past. I'll put the link above to that if you're interested in it. And so I've never experimented with plant breeding, but we are excited about it, and we'll see what comes of it. If you'll have any suggestions of videos that y'all would like for me to make, please comment down below. I would love to hear from y'all. And if you found this video interesting or helpful, then consider subscribing. Here on this channel, we put out content every single week where our goal is to educate and inspire you so that you, your garden, and your homestead can thrive. Look forward to seeing y'all on the next video. Happy growing.